think, looking at influences, inspirations, um, there's probably a number of them coming together, and there's no kind of one single source. I think that there's been a number of explorations, one or two, in terms of environments where there have been interactive environments designed for kids to play in, which have used RFID, but generally those are predetermined, so the environment's created and the kids might add a narrative on top, or build some memory into the system through their play or through the addition of their own stories, but they don't actually get involved in constructing the environment themselves. And that to me seemed like a big gap in that. So just looking at, first of all, from the research point of view, what has been done in this area. So there were some explorations in that, but generally the kids were involved only in part of recording story onto the system through their play on the mat. My interest was in building deeper knowledge in terms of allowing kids to create their own systems, so and allowing them to build knowledge about a system through the creation of it. This, I think, is quite a different approach to previous efforts in this area. In terms of the idea of a story mat, I think that goes back probably to two main or two possible references. One being this idea of the classroom or library story mat, where kids gather to listen to a story, often read by an adult, or to find a quiet place to read themselves. So it's a kind of a physical demarcation of a space for engaging with stories and narratives. But in this sense, the mat is just a physical space that demarcates that area, or physical surface. Yes? So it's the surface. It just defines an area within a room for that, and provides comfort to the users. That then has been extended a bit in two possibly different directions. One was this idea in Brazil, which they referred to as the esteira de leitura, which means a reading mat, which was a couple of reed mats which were used by an NGO going out into informal low-income communities which were without community resources such as libraries, and creating libraries under trees by opening up the mats and putting out some books and allowing kids to come around and sit down under the tree and just read and take advantage of some books. So it's a little bit like a travelling library, but an open air one, and slightly less formal than the kind of traditional truck type system. And in that sense, the mat defines the library or the reading area. The other being the way that mats in more recent times have been printed on to create landscapes or geographic spaces. So you might have a city or a country landscape that then the mat becomes a play surface for kids to play with their toys. So you might be playing with a soft toy animal, playing around in a forest, or pushing a car along a road, but the mat is still just it's not. There's no intelligence in the system. It's just a physical mat that is an illustration that the child can then build an imaginative world around for their play. So the tag mats or the interactive story mats extend this by allowing kids to build their own representations, or users to build their own visuals, and then build intelligence into the mat itself. So it's very much about providing a creative space for learning and using. So yes.